All right, everyone. My name is Joel Maldonado. I'm a senior software development student at Valencia College, graduating next week this semester. And this project is going to be my API YouTube analytic growth pipeline. I build this because YouTube is something that I do on my free time, and it's something special and dear to me that I have fun with when I'm not coding or building projects. So the purpose of this project is to automate the tracking of YouTube performance, try to identify the growth of it. How it works is it's a ETL and extract transform load pipeline that pulls data using the YouTube API, and it stores it in a relational database. And then there are different type of things you can do with the data. You can display it visually. You can read it. The goal is to see the lifetime impact of maybe your channels or your videos. There's many ways you can do it. There's many timelines you can set. You can do multiple different videos. You can do it across channels. The goal of this is just to see, how your videos perform, the views, comparing and contrasting them. So maybe you can take that information and use it to better grow your channel. When you read the analytics to it, you can understand where you lack and what's working and what's not working and things like that. So the language I used was Python. This is the core language to request the data from the API. I stored it in a database, a lightweight relational database called SQL. And I use Pandas. This is my first time using Pandas. It's extremely powerful. It's a library that can use to transfer data and extract data. It's very powerful. And then I always say this wrong, but I think it's Matplotlib is a framework within Python that you can use to make visuals. And that's what I used to make my graphs, so I can visually see the growth in like a graph form of the data from my videos on YouTube. And then I use the YouTube API for the metrics. Okay, the implementation and scope changes. I initially did it for the day. Like when I first started the project, I initially did it just once, and then I realized that I would need more information. So I did a 14-day to compare a niche video on my channel. The channel that I used was, I have multiple different YouTube channels, but the channel that I used for this project was my wife's drawing channel that I manage. We actually don't use the channel anymore, but she would draw, and she would draw for kids, and she would draw different characters. So the scope of the project was to figure out if one character performed better than another character. And based on the feedback, I understood the results from which video performed better. So at the beginning, it was just a daily tracker into a larger comprehensive engine. And what I would like to have done was maybe do more days, but 14 days was good. I got to see the growth between two separate videos. And the results that I found was that when drawing a evergreen character versus a niche character, meaning an evergreen character is something that everyone would know, right? Everyone knows who SpongeBob or Patrick Star is. Everyone knows who Elsa is. Those videos tend to perform better most of the times than a niche character, like maybe like a movie that's like a Disney movie that's dropping this week that no one knows about. That would be considered a niche character. And I realized that those videos, the evergreen characters, perform based off the data, based off the API, fetching the data with Python, that those videos perform a lot better. One of the two technical challenges I had was when retrieving the data, the characters in my YouTube title, I had issues with that. I had technical issues with that, and then the emojis that I use. It's a kid-friendly channel. It's a kid-first channel. It's a made-for-kids channel. So for SEO reasons on YouTube, I would use a lot of special characters and a lot of emojis. And when pulling that data with Matplotlib, the graphs, rendering the emojis, I had issues with. So I had to do a lot of research and try to fix the hurdles of those challenges. Okay, so one of my successes was building an actual ETL pipeline that operates unanimously and successfully mapping it with the API to the database. I had once took an AWS course, and I learned what Glue was, and Glue is an ETL pipeline for AWS, for Amazon. And I never used it. I always thought it was an interesting feature. I understood it, but I never got to ever implement it, and that was one of my successes. being able to implement that. And then one of my disappointments was the timeline that I chose. At the beginning of the project, this was a long project, I realized that one day or just one comparison wasn't enough, that I stretched it. And when I stretched it to 14 days, halfway through, a little more than halfway through, I realized that maybe I should have did it for longer. Like it would be nice to maybe do like 2 months or 3 months, or the whole lifespan of the video from when I uploaded it to now. I'd be able to consume more data and analyze more data. So that's a disappointment. I would say a project duo would be to actually cross channels. Instead of comparing two videos within one channel, I have multiple channels, and I have channels that perform better. I have a channel that performs worse. I would like to compare and contrast using YouTube's API to compare data across channels. I think that would be a nice project do-over, and that was something I would like to do. So the workflow is I use collections data.py to authenticate the API. It fetches the API and the video metrics, and then I load the data into the SQL database, and then I clean the data with pandas and generate visual reports using Matplotlib. And then the final output is the graph that I'm going to show, and I'm going to show all these steps now. So I'm going to CD into my project and open up my project folder. And all the steps I just explained, I'm going to do now. I'm going to collect and make an API call, connecting to the YouTube tracker. You could see us making the API call. We got a success message. These are my videos. And now I'm going to show you the visuals. And this is the so I took away the emojis because I was having issues with the emoji. That was one of my technical hurdles. And then these are the comparison for my 3 videos. And you can see the difference between what does well, what performed better over time, the total views, which one had more views, which one had less views, which one performed decently. And I wish I would have did this across channels. I wish I would have did this like a project do-over. I wish I would have done it across channels. Yeah. Thank you. Any questions? Let me know. This is my GitHub repo, and thank you. This was a fun project. This is my first time ever building a pipeline. This is my first time using ETL. It's my first time fetching data from an API. This was fun, and this was special to me because I didn't even know YouTube had an API that you can use. Going forward with my new channel, that's performing a lot better than all my other channels. Even after this project, I'll be sure to use Python and pandas to fetch data from my channel now so that I can understand where it performs and how it's performing and how I can better my channel. This was a fun project. Thank you, guys. Sorry, I'm terrible on video. Take care.